So, for example, a primary and foreign keys script. So first of all, we're going to check that the database doesn't exist. We're using a database called test, and if it does exist, we're just going to drop it. Okay. And then simple creates database statement to create the database, and then we're going to change context to the test database. And first of all, we're going to create a orders table with just a single column, which is the primary key. And SP help, which is a system procedure, will show us some details of the orders table. For example, create date, the columns, the data types, and also the indexes. In this case, it's a clustered unique primary key. Selecting out the table shows that we've actually got no data in there, because obviously we've just created it. So let's create our secondary table, which has got an order detail number, which is the primary key, and an order number second column. So if we have a look actually at a database diagram for this now, as you can see, the test database now exists, and it's got a couple of tables in there, the order details table and the orders table. So we create a database diagram. First usage, it will always remind us that we need to create it, and we've got the two tables, so we'll add those in. Okay. If you can see, these are two tables with no relationships, no connections at all between them. Now let's create a foreign key relationship between those two tables. So if we get rid of our two tables again and re-import them, just to show. Exactly what I did before, but now when we bring them in, you can see there's actually a relationship between them, so it shows the primary key and foreign key relationship. Hover over it and it'll actually give you a bit more details on that. You can actually right click and show relationship labels, and it will actually put the details in for you. So okay, let's add an order detail line before an order exists. As you can see, we get the foreign key constraint because we can't add detail line in before the orders exist. So we'll create an order, insert one row, and then select out the two tables. As you can see, we now have got an order number but no details. So let's add some details in. This was the statement that failed before, but now as you can see, it works quite happily. I'm going to add another row for the same order number, and also we're going to add a null value in for the third one. Again, that works fine. So let's have a look at the data in our tables now. Order number 1, and as you can see, we've got 3 orders on that. Okay, so that's a simple example of a foreign key relationship and primary key. So let's just tidy that up by going to delete the database, scripting it, closing existing connections, and then script it to clipboard. Always quite useful in SQL, like you can script things up so you can learn the actual syntax, which is quite useful in the course, and we'll paste it into the window. Helps when you actually click on script to clipboard. Cancel, so we're not actually doing the action there, and then paste it in, and we get the actual statement, which we don't have to worry about the delete backup history because we have no backups. So all it's going to do is change the database to single user, so we can actually remove any users in the database, and then basically drop the test database. Obviously you wouldn't want to do this on a production server. As you can see, it's currently in use, but if you run the whole statement, it removes the users and then drops the database. There you go. All done and dusted.